Hi guys, my name is Melanie Ludy and welcome back to my channel. So I cover digital tools to help make your teaching more effective. Today we're going to talk about the biggest thing I've done in quarantine and the thing I'm most proud of, flipping my classroom. So first, let's talk about what flipping your classroom means. For me, flipping my classroom means that the content that my students are going to learn for the week gets taught via video, and then when we're in class, we actually just have time to do those activities that I assign, to answer questions, to really kind of test their understanding. I decided to do this with the move to virtual learning because the playing field was finally level for almost all of my students. So my school made sure that every student had access to the internet, that every student had access to a school-issued Chromebook. Those barriers of access were finally lifted, so it made sense. So one of the other main reasons I flipped my classroom is, one, all of my students had access now, but two, I have a lot of students who are in special education or who have an ESL designation. By flipping my classroom, it would give them so much more time with the content so that they could take as much time as they wanted and it wouldn't be noticeable. It wouldn't be like they were falling behind. They could really over-prepare to make sure they were at the same level, and it just felt like a great way to kind of level that playing field for all of my students. Also, we were doing all of virtual learning anyway. My time with my students was cut in half. I really needed to make best use of the time that I had with them. When we were in building, I used to have 3 hours with my 7th graders and 4 hours with my 8th graders each week. With virtual, I have an hour and a half with each grade. That's it. I really needed to make supreme use of my time and make sure I got through everything, so flipping my classroom just made sense. Now, there's a lot that goes into it, and in this little short series, I'm gonna try and go through everything that goes into a standard week with flipping my classroom. There's kind of two main parts: the stuff that happens the week before and the stuff that happens during the week. So the week before includes lesson planning, making the PowerPoint for the video itself, and then making that comprehension quiz, which kind of tests students on what the video was about. The things that come up in the week of are the actual activities, how I do virtual lessons, and then how I end up grading kids and what other independent work I give them to make sure they have the content for the week. This week we're just going to focus on that first part, and then we'll cover the other parts in next week's video. So I'm here in my digital planner. So let me just kind of show you how I would plan for a month overview and then a week. Okay, so I'm here in my digital planner. So this first slide is my month overview. So that's going to tell me how I'm going to break down this unit that we're working on. And then my next slide is going to look a little bit like this, and that'll break it down by week. So I teach 7th and 8th grade. So I see 7th grade 2 days a week and 8th grade 2 days a week. So that's why my lesson plan only has 2 columns in it. So let's start with my month overview and kind of fill in the calendar on what days go where. So it is the 13th today. So that means 14, 15, 16, 17 is the Tuesday. So I'm just going to start by filling in this calendar with the correct dates. So now that my dates are filled in, I'm gonna check my planner that I made. It's actually a combination of paper copy things. That's a 1-inch binder. And it includes my schedule, like my personal daily schedule. It includes a to-do list that is mostly crossed off for the week. It includes my block schedule, how I've grouped my kids, and then my check sheets that I use each week. So those all stay organized. It also includes my scope and sequence, Let's go to my correct assessment anchor. Here we go, Earth and Space. And then I have to do lessons, what? Lesson 1 and 2 in that first unit. All right, so let's do water cycle these days. This is going to be states and processes of the water cycle. And then I actually made an activity for that already. You saw that in my slides video. And then we're going to do our water cycle pages. This activity here. We're going to color in all sorts of arrows and we're going to list processes, and it's going to be like a putting it all together day. All right, so then conferences. For that day, you know, that's probably just going to be like a makeup kind of day, because I'm only going to have the kids for like 20 minutes. What are you going to do? So we'll just do makeup work and stuff like that on that day. Talk about a reflection. And then we got surface water and groundwater, which I, oddly enough, think I have videos for from last spring. Hey. Let's make a copy of this template, move it down, and we'll put the right dates on it. And then we can just delete all that. Just kind of get bare bones here. So let's talk about what this template looks like. So I put my lesson in the corner here, although it's actually Unit 1, Lesson 2 for my next section. I put my dates up here, and then I have my objective, what's going to be on that end of lesson quiz. I have my reflection. So this is my 5-sentence paragraph on a deep reflecting question from the lesson. Activity or discussion. So what is the main thing I'm going to do each of those days that I have my kids? Comprehension quiz. These are the things I want to make sure I cover in that comprehension quiz that's attached to my video. Things that have to be included in that PowerPoint, so I remember to put them in. Do now an exit slip for each day, and then what my agenda is going to be for each day. That way I can take straight from this and just make my PowerPoints for the week, which are different from the PowerPoints that I make for the video. So let's get into how I do this. So the other thing I have in here is my assessment anchors. So I have a 8th grade PSSA at the end of the year, so I make sure I check my assessment anchors more than my standards. Here we go. F. Unit 1, Lesson 2. And it says, describe the water cycle and the physical process on which it depends. There we go. That's my objective. Okay, so I've taught water cycle before, so I have some resources on it. So I'm going to go check my other drive and see what resources I have that I can recycle for virtual learning. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just going to go through my text and I'm going to fill in the things that I need in that PowerPoint, make my do now and my exit slip, and kind of fill in some questions that I want for my reflection and on my lesson quiz. So for my do nows, I try and make them accessible questions, so something a little bit more straightforward. For my exit slip, I try to make them a little bit more thinking questions to really kind of see how they did the lesson. So I'm just pulling questions from the water cycle quiz that I did last year, because there's no need to reinvent the wheel here. So I really liked this question. I was watching a documentary with my boyfriend, and it was, I think, one of the ones narrated by David Attenborough. He loves listening to David Attenborough. Anyway, And they were talking about how the trees in the Amazon rainforest release so much water that it creates the biggest wetland right below to the south because the winds blow all that water from the rainforest to that area. I just love that question for this. So that'll be a great reflection question. Actually, I put it in the wrong spot. There we go. Alrighty, so what do I want to talk about next week? So my school on Fridays, we have meetings, small group meetings with students, and so I like to talk about who's going to be in my Friday groups those days. I can point back to something and say that your child did know about their Friday meeting, things like that. That'll cover it. This cat. Nudge cat. Nudge cat number 1. His name is Pierre. He's annoying. He's so cute though. Lucky he's cute. Okay, kitty, you need to move though. Go over there. Okay, so I finished my digital planner for the week. So that's what we worked on over here. I'm now gonna go use this to make my PowerPoint for the video this week. So I make a PowerPoint for the video. So then I record myself going through that PowerPoint. That becomes the video that goes on the top of the comprehension quiz. I like to go through and just bold the vocab words in the slides to make sure they're paying attention to those specific words. So now we got to talk about processes. How many times can I spell sphere wrong? So the book has a really good picture of this that I want to talk about, and I already took a picture of it. It's in my drive, so I'm going to go just insert it in here. All right, there's that image that I want, and I can insert it. I still need to crop this a little bit, but not nearly as much. So I have created my PowerPoint that I'm going to use to make my video.
Hey guys, this is Editing Melanie. So I'm editing this first video and it's already like 15, 16 minutes long, and we just finished making that PowerPoint. So I'm going to put the comprehension quiz and making of the video in the next week's episode, just so it's not forever long.
Okay guys, that'll do it for this first part of Flipping My Classroom. Stay tuned for next week when I go over part 2 of things that happen during the week to prepare for a flipped classroom. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Also consider subscribing. It really helps me out. Thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.